Good morning. Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. This morning, I have to say Donald Trump was right, which we knew. This morning, we have to say Thinking is Contagious was right. And this morning, we have to say all those who lambasted and criticized the position that the lockdown was an exaggerated, out of control weapon. All those who criticized that, you were wrong. And you are wrong. And you've caused irreparable, not irreparable, but you have caused damage that will take years to fix. The very claim that this pandemic has wreaked havoc on the minorities of this country follows suit hand in hand with our claim that the liberals and the Democrats accept any and all collateral damage as long as the agenda of removing Donald Trump from office is completed. You have been used. Collateral damage acceptable, as has been the history of the liberals and the Democrats for the last 60 years. The minorities are the collateral damage, are the pawns, are the people that they are willing to sacrifice. The very people that they say that they're so concerned that they're looking out for are the vehicles that they need to implement the socialist agenda, which is all this is. An attempt to overthrow the country. Where does all this come from? The World Health Organization. I'm sure that you haven't read or seen much on this because the media is stunned in silence. Yesterday, the World Health Organization, the headline in the Washington Examiner, WHO officially urges world leaders to stop using lockdowns as primary virus control methods. This is dated October 10th by Andrew Mark Miller. The World Health Organization's special envoy on COVID-19 urged world leaders this week to stop using lockdowns as the primary control method. We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as the primary means of control of this virus. Funny, because they did at one point, right? Dr. David Nabarro said to the Spectator's Andrew Neil, "The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather you not do it." Dr. David Nabarro, the WHO Special Envoy on COVID-19, tells Andrew Neil, we really do appeal to all world leaders. Stop using lockdown as your primary control method. Okay? In quotes, Dr. Nabarro, just look at what's happened. This is critical that we've been saying. Okay? Just look at what's happened to the tourism industry in the Caribbean, for example, or in the Pacific, because people aren't taking their holidays. Look what's happened to smallholder farms all over the world. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may have a doubling of world poverty. A doubling of world poverty by next year, people. All with one agenda. One agenda. And we know what that is. Control through the pandemic. The pandemic as a weapon by the liberals, by the socialists who are trying to take over this country. And their mouthpieces, the ignoramuses that are AOC, that are Elizabeth Warren, that are Bernie Sanders. Self-serving ignoramuses. Okay? The talking heads, Adam Schiff. The talking heads, Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer. They have used every minority in this country to further their cause of removing the President of the United States from office, of taking out the roadblock that he presents to the implementation of socialism. There's no mistake. This goes on. I'm going to repeat it. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may well have a doubling of world poverty by next year. We may well have at least a doubling of child malnutrition. Children dying of malnutrition is acceptable collateral damage. Acceptable collateral damage. Earlier this week, thousands of medical health experts signed their names to a petition calling for the end of coronavirus lockdowns, citing the irreparable damage they've caused. A little late, don't you think? A little late. They talk about, oh, did President Trump react correctly? Yes, he did. They say, oh, President Trump was late. No, he wasn't. This is late. This is late. Because the president's instincts were correct, as were ours. People with comorbidities need to take precautions, and they still do. But the rest of America, 96%, 95%, 90, whatever it may be, percent of America needs to go out there, needs to live their lives, okay? Needs to be exposed to the virus, needs to create herd immunity, and needs to move on. It's been weaponized by the left. People, open your eyes, please. As infectious, and this is a quote as well, as infectious disease epidemiologists and public health scientists, we have grave concerns about the damaging physical and mental health impacts of the prevailing COVID-19 policies. And we recommend an approach we called focused protection. Read of the petition known as the Great Barrington Declaration. Current lockdown policies are producing devastating effects on short and long-term public health. In the United States, lockdowns have been tied to increased thoughts of suicide from children, a surge in drug overdose, an uptick in domestic violence, and a study conducted in May, listen to this, concluded that stress and anxiety from lockdowns could destroy 7 times the years of life that a lockdown could potentially save. That is what we're seeing reflected in some of these numbers. Oh, the study that came out from May till present, there's been an extra 200,000 deaths in this country than projected. It is a result of the lockdown. It is not all a result of COVID. Again, the World Health Organization, the CDC came out several weeks ago, if not a month ago, and said, without comorbidity, 2 or more comorbidities accounted for 94% of those deaths attributed to COVID. People without comorbidities, COVID is 6% of total deaths. I'm not justifying 12 to 14,000 deaths in this country. 12 to 14,000. And if you look up, you will see that that is consistent with the H1N1, the swine flu, the virus of the supposed pandemic of years ago during the Obama administration. That's the same number of deaths. H1N1 was somewhere in that 12 to 15,000 deaths. Okay? That's what COVID-19's deaths are without comorbidities. People, you've been used. And it points to the fact of what we've been saying on this channel. The people that are using the minorities, abusing minorities, are the people who say that they're here for the minorities. The Democrats, the liberals, they are not concerned with anyone. They are concerned with the agenda that's given them their careers. Barack Obama is a perfect example. A one-term senator, a nondescript career, nondescript academic career, a man and a family that knew that they were not destined for anything great, signed the pact with the devil and were promised power, fame, and fortune to say or do whatever was necessary to move forward the agenda to defeat and destroy this country. Obama, Biden, an administration that funded Iran, okay, an administration that spied on an incoming president, an administration that lied to the FISA courts, to allow the FBI to lie, an administration that has fabricated evidence, an administration that drove racial tensions in this country to fever pitches, an administration that allowed, okay, endorsed, okay, violent protests, an administration that put blue lives, that put the police in this country at risk for being shot merely for doing their job, for being police officers. And we see now that the right-hand man of that administration is running for president of this country. Sorry. We need to stand up. And now this makes this very evident. It makes everything very evident. I hope that everyone here who thinks that the liberals and the Democrats are out to help and are concerned with what the pandemic has done to America, what the pandemic has done to minorities, what the pandemic has done to your economies, what the pandemic has done to your mental health and well-being and your physical health, that they're concerned. They're not concerned, because they took an H1N1 type virus and have made it a weapon of mass destruction only for one reason: to remove Donald Trump. That is the fact. And you don't see any headline this morning. I had to dig deep. I had to Google specific words, because when you're putting up your Bing search engine and look at news, there's no mention of this backtracking by the World Health Organization. Why is that? Why is there no lead story? If the lead story were the opposite, the World Health Organization said that the shutdown should have been started earlier, it would be headline. It would be cannon fodder against this administration, against Trump. This is buried. People, please use this morning, Tuesday morning, the 13th of October, use this morning to quickly go on the news, to go on your computer and look at the news. Look at Reuters, which is decently towards the middle, okay? And see what they're reporting. See what MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC. See what Fox is reporting. See what One America News Network is reporting. See what PBS is reporting. See what they're reporting, what they're not telling you, selective reporting, because this destroys the last 6 months of their campaign. That Trump did not react. This destroys it. Trump was right. We need to be right. We need to get this right. Vote for the right. Vote for the person that has the instinct and that has the well-being of this country ahead of the well-being of socialism. We don't need to be Venezuela. We don't need to be Cuba. We don't need to be Nicaragua. We don't need to be a socialist country. We need to be the United States of America. Thank you.